Hello, honorable members of the class, and let's go back to the Knockout High Court and let's talk about exactly what is this thing of person of interest, because I never thought that in South Africa we use that terminology. I mean, I've always heard it in American movies when a suspect is called a person of interest. In South Africa, we've always known them as suspects, nothing else. In Zulu, umsolwa. And then once the charges have been laid against them and they appeared in court, then they become accused. But it was for the first time I was hearing Kininda refer to Kelly Khumalo as a person of interest. And I was confused. What does person of interest in South African criminal law basically means? Because I mean, seriously, it was quite confusing. It was interesting to hear Gininda clarifying it and say basically it means a suspect. So that why aren't we using the South African terminology and why we are adopting American terminologies when it comes to this term? Honestly, I mean, why confuse us like that? And the other thing about the argument regarding Kelly Khumalo. Listen, whether in my mind, whether Brigadier Dininda was prevented or advised by the MPA, the fact of the matter is Kelly Khumalo is not accused number 6. And you can't go and say, oh, this investigation on Kelly Khumalo is an ongoing investigation. For the past 6 years, already we have a trial that is active and the mastermind is not arrested. And then you want to come to court and grandstand and say, oh, no. This is not for the brigadier to be asked that question. No, the brigadier needs to be asked that question so that he clears himself up and say, listen, I was prevented, because that's the word. Kelly Khumalo is not accused number 6 because the lead investigator was prevented from furthering his investigations on Miss Kelly Khumalo 6 years later. And now the trial has started. In fact, this trial has started twice, and Kelly Khumalo was never arrested, and brought to court and as accused number 6. So why are we playing with words here? Why are we making a fool of the court by saying, oh no, Ginida rightfully says that this was a prosecutorial investigation. I was taking advice from the MPA, but the MPA said we are not going to arrest Kelly Khumalo. So if you're not going to arrest a suspect, that means no investigations are going to proceed from there. Because what's taking so long? 6 years. That's justice delayed. There is no way. I think it's even tantamount to defeating the ends of justice, if you have to ask me. So now that we are having a debate about whether Kelly Khumalo was a person of interest, that is why we didn't ask these questions and these questions, because that communication or the alleged communication between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5 is very crucial to understand if the lead investigator did go and speak to Kelly Khumalo about that phone call. Where do they know each other from? Do they even know each other? And then we come to the records where it doesn't say that accused number 5 was on those records as one of the people that called Kelly Khumalo. And then I see this also tactic that while this was a data call or cell phone data call, it was not a a direct call, like from a network to another network or network to network type of situation. All this is to confuse the records. All this is to mislead the court as well. And now there we have a judge who says, yeah, you are speaking out of 30 years of experience, right, Mr. Brigadier Gininda? And he's like, yeah. In other words, the judge is trying to throw off the counsel that is questioning the witness about this very aspect. And you could see Miss Msholo was thrown off because she said, let's move on. And I was like, no, Miss Msholo, you should have labored on this, because it's important for the record of the court that the accused number 5 is not on that list of numbers that contacted Kelly Khumalo around that time in 2014. And then that so-called data call That should be that shouldn't even be an evidence of what of some sort whatsoever that can add to the judgment. It cannot be. We want 205s of 2014. Where are they? Because there was an initial investigating team, and that initial investigating team ought to have obtained those 205s of 2014 and still be in the docket, like all with other, in what do you call this, evidence that Gininda inherited in 2018. Am I missing something here? What are we missing, good dear people? Because of course, this is a continuous waste of court time, taxpayers' money, and the interpreter. Oh gosh, how, how did he get the job? Now, because it's clear that before all of these cameras in court, people were getting jobs in a very questionable way. I'm questioning the way the interpreter got this job because he's doing a terrible job. The disrespect of the Zulu language in that courtroom is staggering. I'm sorry, I gotta say something. It is staggering. And how is that fair on the accused? But no, Mr. Baloy wanted that with what do you call this interpreter by hook or crook on Monday and Tuesday. And yet Jonas said, listen, we are having interviews for judges' secretaries. And I need to be here because the accused have made a complaint about this very interpreter. The disrespect. Honestly speaking, it's the disrespect for me. But anyways, guys, I don't want to labor too much on this part. But the thing that was crossing my mind is whether Baloy or Gininda, the semantics about the word prevention and advice. The fact of the matter is Kelly Khumalo is not accused number 6. If Kelly Khumalo was accused number 6 and no further evidence, investigations were done thereafter, then I would understand. But she's not accused number 6. And apparently, she's the mastermind. How is it possible that a whole investigation comes to a conclusion that, wait, we have found the source of Senzo Meiwa's unaliving? It is his girlfriend and the mother of his child. Yeah, rightfully so, Gininda went and applied for a warrant of arrest. But why was the warrant of arrest wasn't affected for her arrest? Why not? Is it affected? English. Why not? Why she's not accused number 6? So Ms. Mshololo is asking a relevant question here. And the conclusion from Ms. Mshololo's analogy from what Gininda is saying is prevention. You were prevented by the MPA to further your investigation, which should have brought Kelly Khumalo as accused number 6. Why are the small fish being the one that are being thrown in the deep end of the pond? Why? Why can't we also have the mastermind? This doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense whatsoever. And I stand on that. I really do. But other than that, things are happening in that courtroom, and Judge Ratha, in as much as he tries his level best to withhold himself, he is really trying it as far as I'm concerned. And ganging up against the council, it's uncalled for. Why don't you reserve all of that for your judgment? Because clearly your judgment was long made as far as I'm concerned, in my own opinion. You found this man guilty. These men, you found them guilty. This is just a rubber stamp, like, okay, we'll sit through this. Everybody's going to take the stand, yet there is no case here. This case died the moment Zungu took the stand. It died the moment, in fact, not even when Zungu took the stand. When the two respond officers, Mtetwa and the other one, there is no way that you would have continued with a trial where the crime scene was contaminated. No ways. Mapiri cleaning it. leaving a civilian to look after the crime scene. The house had people moving in and out to a point where even the ballistic could not take fingerprints in some parts of the house because it was so full of people moving up and down. Why? Because the crime scene is not cordoned off. But no, we're still having a trial today. Come the DNA results, came the dreads, came the gold tooth, came so many things. And yet we are still having this charade. I know, come on. Come on now. Stop wasting taxpayers' money. Cut this umbilical cord or whatever it is you want to call it. And let's call it a day. Clearly, the Maywas are not going to get justice out of this because the real perpetrators are being protected. They are being covered for. They are being covered for. Whichever way one wants to see it, that is the conclusion here. And that, guys, please don't leave this video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And I shall see you guys next time with a new video while they continue. Goodbye.